What's up, everybody? It's Christian Edwards with Supplement Warehouse, Best Price Nutrition, CapitalNutrition.com, and today we are here with IFBB Pro Sami and Ryan Henderson. They are both classic competitors. Ryan is an IFBB Pro in both classes, men's physique and classic physique. Sami is getting ready for the 2020 Olympia. Sami, you want to talk to us about your prep and how things are going?
So far, we're, 14 weeks out? I started prep 18 weeks out, just because of weight issues. Just want to make sure I actually am on point for weight. So far, liking the changes. Me and Chris are changing the diet weekly, sometimes bi-weekly too. And cardio is just 30 minutes right now, and then training 6 days a week. Not much from there, just keep working.
So Sami, Ryan and I were talking, and you and Ryan have met a few times in the past. And, it's kind of out of nowhere, you kind of just spiraled up, not even pro, you're just, amateur competitor, and all of a sudden you went pro, and now you're at the Olympia. What did it actually take for you to kind of make that switch, or to flip that switch, let's say?
Trial and error would be definitely a main contributing factor to it, because if we go all the way back to 2015, where it all started, at the Florida Grand Prix, I did a prep in 5 weeks, because my buddy talked me into doing a show. Cool thing about it is, when I was prepping, I was just doing it just to see how I would do at the show. I didn't know I was going to take it that serious. After that, I actually got paid for Team U. Then I did secondary, then I went to USA's in 2015, placed 6th, and then took an off season and basically just said, okay, what do I need to do next? My second year in 2016 was more of a fuck up. I thought I could do it myself. Never tried to prep yourself. Just doesn't work. Some people can do it. I just can't. Fasting and trying to refeed myself all the time was just causing dilemma. PJ actually saved me on that prep. I think we did the last 2 weeks with him, so we actually dialed in. I got second at that amateur show. Took an off season because I needed more size. I needed more quality tissue. So after that, now let's fast to 2017. 2017 USA's again. Went from 4th to 2nd. I was actually prepping with ProFX Johnny Castellina. Went from 6th to 4th. Now I'm at 4th place. All right, now we're gonna go to 2018. 2018 is coming. I was working with Neil Hill in the off season. He was a little too busy, and I just didn't want to bother him during the whole flex thing. So I got the chance to actually reach out to Chris Aceta, and that's where it all kind of spiraled. Chris's me's resume is just honestly on paper it looks perfect. Because if you think about it, in 2018, turned pro in Classic. 2 weeks out, I actually switched to Classic because the weight was a little bit better, and I had a classically pleasing physique, in my opinion. And then after that, we took second there. I forgot my oil. Never forget your oil, by the way. Make sure you look washed out if you don't do it. Then 2019 comes. I'm small still. I'm like 191, but just still small. I was lacking roundness, so I took an off season. Trained a hell of a lot, ate my ass off, and then this is August, right before my birthday, and I'm like, all right, I'll do the Niagara Falls Pro, which is the show right after the Olympia. Placed second to Rough Diesel. Amazing, honestly, a really good competitor.
Nothing but,
probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Phenomenal.
Probably top 3.
You probably shit yourself after that.
Yeah, I was actually wanting to see what I'd meet up with you against. It was cool placing second. I don't know how it was really judged, but he definitely brought a very pleasing package. And then I was like, fuck, there's still one more show. So 2019, Battle of Texas, 4 weeks later on December 16th. I was like, 38 guys.
That's a thick
38 guys. And guys were shredded to bone. Like, bro, there's no one not shredded.
Actual caliber, top caliber competitors.
Top caliber competitors. Guys are great. I ended up taking first day and qualifying for the Olympia. And then it spun after there. I slowly started creeping up into the on the radar with other competitors and stuff like that. I'm still, I feel, in my opinion, lacking a couple of things that I need, like more size, better roundness, weak points. My back can always come up, which I brought my back up this year in 2020. That was like my really realistic goal. And then after that, we went into, I was like, okay, done putting on size, because I got the 206. My weight cap is 175, being at 5'4" and a quarter. So now it's just dialing in and see where it takes me. I don't know where I stand in the Olympia. I know those guys are on a whole, Battle of Texas was really hard, but don't know how the Olympia is going to be. That's going to be probably way harder because these guys are coming in that place first at different shows throughout the whole year, or
that I place first in, they're going to be coming up against me, and these guys are huge. You got tall guys like Chris Bumstead, Logan Franklin just won Tampa Pro. You got guys like Breon Ansley, conditioning is amazing. Rough Diesel, Terrence Ruffin. All these guys can easily land in the top 5 right away. And my realistic goal this year in 2020 is to place top 5, and just see how I can meet up with these guys, see where I stand.
And so much of this, I think, is also posing. I mean, you know, as important as your physique may be, it's showing where your strengths lie,
100%.
maybe hiding weaknesses if you have weaknesses. You know, and at the end of the day, I mean, you could have the best physique out there, but if your posing wasn't 100%, and as you said last time we were working out, you know, posing is something you do every day.
Every single day.
Every day.
That's one thing I never lack on was posing. I'm not the best poser, but I can definitely say I can back myself up when it comes to posing. I do it all the time because I'm obsessed with flexing in the mirror. It's been always a common thing ever since I was little. I even used to do it in wrestling practice all the time.
Did you flex on dudes when you pinned them down?
No, not always. But other than that, I mean, it just comes. And there is a true thing that I truly think during prep, if you pose every day, not wait till the last minute to practice posing, I really think it really brings out more detail. And it causes a nice separation between your muscles.
Mind-muscle connection, I think.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's a big contributor.
I think so.
And posing is not just posing in the, you know, at the gym at the mirror in the same,
posing
same spot every time. It's whenever you wake up, you set your phone up somewhere, don't look yourself, hit your pose, go look at the picture after, and I think that's really how you have to learn your poses, because when you're on stage, there's nothing around you.
100%.
You're on that line, and sometimes you look down that line and it's hard to even balance.
100%. Well, the wild thing is that oftentimes what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing are two different things. And I think that's why filming it is so important. What you see with your mind's eye in a mirror is different than what that camera may
100%.
show.
And I think a big thing is because a lot of people will say like, man, that guy looks washed out on the video camera, or this guy looks bad in the pictures. But if you don't see the person in real life and they did really good, you can't judge it by a picture or fucking thing. You need to see it there. You gotta be there. You gotta see the conditioning. You gotta see him flexing. You gotta see him posing. You gotta see him really working himself.
The lighting and everybody else under that same lighting, because if you had great lighting, you may look entirely different under great lighting versus poor lighting.
100%.
Yeah, the same thing with like his pictures. Like last night, we put him under good lighting, and that's different than the pictures he's posting outside his front door on his porch, on his balcony. It's a 9-day difference. Like you wouldn't think that he would have that much density in his bag just by looking at the pictures he posts online. Then you see him in person, you're like, oh.
Because I feel like at the end of the day is a true statement in bodybuilding. Pictures don't do anyone justice.
No.
At all. Like, not at all. And that's why you can't really judge. It's kind of like judging a book by its cover, because you're seeing the cover, but you're not really seeing the true picture. You're not looking into the detail of seeing it in person. Like, you can't judge it. You got to open the book up and you got to read it to eventually see what you learn from it.
And someone looks different working versus just taking a picture as well. So you catch somebody while they're going through sets, those muscles look different when you've got blood pushed through that muscle, when you're firing. Exactly.
100%.
So that was a short introduction. Sami, Ryan, you got your pro card a little bit later on, and you also didn't compete for, 20 years, I think?
Right, so I got my pro card in 2016.
What was your first show?
I did my first show in 2011. So I'm 47, did my first show in 2011.
47 years old, guys, and he's still training with us. I'm 27. Ed's 28. We're fucking young, and he's still able to keep up. Throwing up 120s on dumbbell press like it's nothing. I mean, you got to give a guy credit where credit's due. He's 47 years old and fucking still training like a madman.
This is a guy who got me into kind of working out and then started shoving pro hormones and stuff down my throat. Because he was one of the actual first supplement stores that I worked for down south, and that's whenever we sold actual real, methylated and non-methylated pro hormones.
19 Nor Pros.
That's when 19 Nor was still out, and like the real Spawn was still out, like the real Epi Smash and everything was still out, and
old school stuff.
He's one that kind of got me trained. He was my training partner for I think 6 years, probably 6 years straight every night.
And I'd say to you also, don't ever be satisfied where you're at. You may start in one category and move to other categories. I mean, and Keon, who's one of his training partners, has moved from classic into 212. So, I started out in physique. I mean, I didn't have the size, I had big chest and shoulders, but that was it. So I think you should always keep your eye out to where you can be. Don't just be satisfied with being one thing. And a lot of people are cubbyholed into one type of body type, saying, hey, I can't do anything else, I'm an ectomorph and I'll never be classic physique. But I think if you put enough work into it, if you have the right diet, if you have the right supplements, and it all goes together. It's not just, hey, I'm going to drink 3 protein shakes a day. It's having the right structured diet. It's having the right supplements to help you get to where your goals are at.
It's the thing, like, people think, like, oh, more gear, more this, more that. No, like, necessarily, like, honestly, the true thing is food and training and rest. The gear is just little increment tools.
It's a fertilizer.
Well, it's a fertilizer, honestly.
That's it.
Well, how many kids reach out to you on Instagram and, like, him and I are both in, like, the shop settings and stuff. How many kids are asking about pro hormones that are, like, fucking 18, 17 years old?
Probably in the majority of my following.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And it's like,
they're interested. There's some kids that actually want to learn about it, and there's some kids that just, like,
they want everything.
What's going to get me big?
Yes.
It's like...
Food and maturity.
I mean, food and maturity, you can answer that. If you're trying to be a dickhead and you want to just sell them something, you could sell them something. But, I mean, I try to get the baseline of it the first out. Like, how's your diet? How's your training? How's your sleep? And then I would say, instead of starting them on a stack, I would say, like, let's focus on just
food.
2 areas, and food and training, and then go into supplementation. But you don't go right into pro hormones. I think you actually should establish a good protein, like Isolation by Blackstone Labs, a good carb product for either intra or post workout, a good pump formula, a good BCA, and then a good freaking multivitamin. Start with that.
That's foundational to all of it.
Correct.
If you're not doing that, if you're not doing all that correctly, then anabolics are the last thing you need to worry
100%.
about, because that is where everything starts. That might be anabolics may be that 10 or 15%, but without all of this, without consistency in training, and a lot of people, they think they train, but then they actually go and train with somebody who's really pushing it, who's doing drop sets, who's pushing it past that point, who's doing 25, 30, reps in one set, and have those those blood pumps where it feels like something's gonna pop. That's what makes you grow.
100%. That's when you're probably releasing the most naturally IGF-1 throughout your body during your workout.
Yes.
Type B muscle fibers. And honestly, truly, that's the way to go. And then when you have established that base, then that's when you can start dabbling into some whatever nature you want to dabble in. I would honestly try to do it as long as you can without the dabbling, but
as he said, if you want to take your body as far as you can take it naturally with creatine and isolate protein and diet and training, and then you'll get to a certain point where you are stagnated, where you've kind of hit that genetic ceiling, then that's the time to actually talk to a real coach, somebody who's going to tell you, give you that clear view of, hey, here's where you could go, here are your choices. Like, but before then,
I think that's when you know a good coach is. Like, there's a lot of guys that are really harsh on me, but I don't take it for granted. I take it more as like a blessing, because it's rather to be harsh on someone and tell them the truth so they can go back to the drawing board and work towards what they're trying to go for.
Yeah, like rather than, hey, if I'm working with someone that's just being cookie cutter with me and just feeding me, a participation reward for everything left and right that I do, he probably doesn't give a shit. He's probably not paying attention. He's probably just on automated with me when he's responding back.
He just wants that $300. He just wants that $300 a month.
Yeah.
Right. But when someone tells you, hey, that's not the direction for you to take, or let's focus on this rather than that. Hey, that's the guy you really want on your team, not the guy who tells you what you want to hear, because you can tell yourself whatever you want. You can convince yourself of anything.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, honesty in bodybuilding will take you a lot farther away than just some cookie cutter diet and a bunch of drugs.
Yes.
And no proper guidance.
And unicorn excuses.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the
and there's one other thing I want to talk about, like when I said rest and recovery. Days off is where you grow. Like, taking a day or 2 off in between your training split is perfectly fine. Like, I personally do a 3-day on, 1 day off. How do you do it?
I just work out through the week and I take 2 days off on the weekends.
So he has his 2 days off, which gives his body enough time to recover.
And I normally I try to hit everything twice a week, but I do listen.
It's very hard.
I do listen to my body, and if my shoulders don't want that today, I'm not going to do a pushing day. So I'll switch it off. Maybe I have an active rest day and I do cardio and abs and calves on a day. But I listen to my body. And oftentimes, if I'm hitting something twice a week, I'm doing a heavier day on one day, and I'm doing a deload on the next workout. So more volume on one day, heavier on the first day, more volume on the second day, and that works for me. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. If you're trying to cut, you're probably going to have greater frequency in your workouts. If you're trying to build, hey, some guys only work out 4 days a week.
That's the way to do it, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Less is more.
But switching things up. You don't want to have the same thing.
You don't want to do the
for
same,
6 months at a time.
You don't want to do the same split. You don't want to do the same exercise. It's do the same style, yes, but I would always switch it up. Like, I'm a big fan of Y3T microcycles, where it's training in heavy period for 1 week, iso the next, and then the week after is giant sets, supersets, drop sets, everything like that to really manifest what I'm trying to build.
And he's saying changing things up. I think if you had a heavy day on Monday and you go back on Thursday and hit that again, try to do different exercises on Thursday than what you did on Monday. So I may be doing chest on those 2 days, but I'm going to be doing totally different exercises on the second day versus the first day, including changing the rep sets and the weight.
You see how he tries to train 2 muscle groups twice a week. Each muscle group twice a week. You can't do that, but he probably does it in a way where he's lifting heavy one day and then he's isolating the next day. Stimulating versus breaking the muscle tissue down is great for your body. One, for recovery, because the isolation is just going to add for more blood flow and circulation. And then when you're really hitting it and getting those PRs in, and I'm not talking about 1 rep PRs, I'm just talking about really progressively overloading the weight and increasing the reps, or just
moderate control. Yeah.
Exactly.
And something else as well we were talking about last time when we were working out, having the right people around you. If you're the strongest guy that you work out with, you don't have somebody pushing you. You want to have other people around you who have similar passion, have similar goals, and hopefully are slightly bigger and more experienced, so they're actually teaching you something rather than you trying to be the teacher. 100%. Have somebody teaching you. Have somebody pushing you.
100%.
You know, find that guru. Find that guy to help you be better.
I always think, like, if it's just 2 people training, one person... has to be the dominant.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, and then it doesn't have to be on every lift, but like intensity is everything. If you're going through the motions, if you're big on that whole lift slow shit, I respect it, but that's just not my style. I need intensity. I have control, but some people just have to tell me, yo, Sammy, slow it down, because I have the tendency to bang those reps out. Which honestly is more because of meathead style.
But that's your style.
Slow coming. I think control on the down, but I think explode on the positives, right? 100%. So if it took you 3 coming down, have 1 going up.
100%.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good just working out with people who just do different shit, because then you're doing different shit and you're stimulating your body in a whole new way. Because you're always bringing in new stimuli whenever you train with somebody different, because everybody has their own style of training.
Right, and even sometimes changing gyms. You know, going to gyms that have different equipment, that have different environments. Maybe some guys are powerlifters, strongmen. Other guys are bodybuilders. But
even music.
Yeah, hey, but wherever you go, and you get to travel around, and so you're in different places, working out with different gyms with different types of people. 100%. But it's beneficial to you to have that change of environment. It's good to be comfortable where you're at. But at the end of the day, reaching out and going to different gyms, almost look at, would you want to go to the same club every weekend? No, you wouldn't want to. So why would you go to the same gym? Yeah, unless it was really, really good.
Yeah. Unless the female teachers are really, really good.
It's a fully stocked
but then you already ran through it all, so you can't really be there.
So you don't know what you're left with.
And they don't like you anymore.
Yes, questions? I don't know. No.
Do we have questions? I can't see from that far.
I'll answer them later. But other than that, I mean, that's just basic philosophy of bodybuilding, guys. And there's probably a couple things we could talk about down here. I mean, what do you guys want to start with?
We have a whole array if we haven't covered it already at sushi.
So let's kind of look at a few things like so
supplementation.
obviously Sammy's with Blackstone, so we have a bunch of their different products here.
So let's go
kind of walk through why we take the things that we take, how those are beneficial to us. While whole food is the most important thing, I think supplementation plays a huge point. Maybe taking carbs with branch chains when you're trying to bulk, taking carbs with your post-workout isolated protein after your workout. So let's walk through some of those different products.
Let's hit on one of these here. So the most important thing in bodybuilding is eating. So what would be the benefit of a bodybuilder taking a thermogenic such as arsen when they have to eat?
No benefit at all, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, this is more for, moms that want to just kind of like stay active, be very productive, because it has over 125 milligrams of DMHA, which kind of, in my opinion, kind of like a natural Adderall-like feeling, very like focused, euphoric-like, and just it suppresses the appetite, or fasted cardio in the morning, or just people that are trying to, prep for a show.
As he said here, I've tried this. One of the stronger thermogenic / fat burners I've taken, and I've had everything a store for 10 years. I've taken DMAA products. I've taken everything under the sun. That appetite suppression on that, you almost don't want to eat, so you almost have to make yourself eat. So for someone who's trying to lose weight, that's great. Now, 100%. if you're a bodybuilder and you're trying to bulk and eat 6 or 7 meals a day, that's not the product for you.
Not at all.
No, I have people that really enjoy taking those products, even such as like the Crit that you guys have. But most people that like to take this are just your tweakers.
100%.
It's mostly your tweakers that like to take
it. The skim junkies, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. And honestly, Arsen is by far our best and most powerful fat burner we have on our market, in my opinion, and it sells like hotcakes, guys. And guess what? There's 3 websites you guys can go to: Best Price Nutrition, Supplement Warehouse, and also EliteSportsSupplements.com. Great discount going on today, guys. So if you are interested in Arsen, definitely grab that.
And Capital Nutrition.
Mokena.
Now we were just talking about trying to put on size. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the Glyco Log here. That's one of my favorite products from
It's
Blackstone.
actually out of stock right now because it sells so fucking
right. But it's one of those products that when you're eating a lot of carbs, it allows you to actually eat a lot of carbs and not store it as fat.
Proper nutrient absorption.
Yeah, you're gonna see better pumps. If you take it with your pre-workout meal, you're gonna notice better pumps while you're working out.
And some people always ask when it comes to like carb sources, where should you get them from?
Yes.
Well, it took 19 years for PJ to come up with. That's the story around it. That's why it's called Formula 19. It took 19 years for PJ to come up with a very, very good carb product. So you got slow digesting and fast digesting carbohydrates. You got over 9 grams of glutamine for proper recovery and gut health. You also have 5 grams of leucine, which is the most abundant amino acid out there for proper protein synthesis. So you have electrolytes in there for rapid hydration, but the reason why we brought the carb source in there with glycolog attaches to nutrients of carbohydrates, the one that expand in the muscle cells and grow. Formula 19 would be great for pre and post workout. So there's over 4 flavors in there. You got unflavored, so if you're not a typical person that really likes flavory stuff, you got black currant, which is kind of like a berry. You got fruit punch, and you also got orange as well. So this is 30 servings, 50 grams of carbohydrates per scoop. That's something you could do, but mainly me, I'm not big on intra-carbs or anything like that. I do mostly just food, white rice, cream of rice, Pride Foods. Use code SAMI10, by the way. Great fucking carb source, doesn't have all the iron in it. That's for that one. But then he brought up bulking. I mean, we could do a bunch of stuff.
Like this abnormal right here,
Grab
this
that.
19 nor.
Grab the abnormal, grab the brutal.
Brutal force? Right there.
Okay, and grab that eradicate too.
Where's that one at?
I'm going to teach you guys a little bit. Yeah, I grabbed it. It's the black bottle.
Where's that?
Where is that?
I don't think you grabbed it because it's see-through, but it's got black pills. You grab a Myostatin. You didn't grab Eradicate.
All right, well, it's all good.
Eradicate's the anti-estrogen, it's a remestain.
You got 2 compounds. They're prohormones, non-liver toxin, non-methylated. Being that all prohormones need to be methylated to bypass the liver, should get through the liver and actually be fully effective. You have 4-andro, which it converts to 2-step conversion to testosterone. You have a 19-nor, which actually converts to a 2-step conversion to decaderobolin. So, bulking your test base, then you got your bulking agent in there. Very anabolic, low on the androgenic side. It does aromatize. So, Eradicate, Remistine, blocks the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. Highly recommend it. So, if a guy putting on size, I recommend an 8-week cycle of this, which is 1 pill morning of both each. And honestly, to put on clear sides, this would be great for you guys. Cool thing about it, you guys are going to ask, how does something, a pill form, get like that? Well, like high-tech pharmaceuticals, like all the other companies that actually have prohormones and that are very effective and sell very well, like Blackstone's and ours, we use a delivery system called liposomal. Liposomal is considerably a fat-soluble and a water-soluble that bypasses the liver and shuttles straight to the bloodstream. So you actually get a 99.9% bioavailability. That's what makes these pills very effective. It's sad that we can't have the old stuff, but you got to work with what you got.
If it does not have a delivery system, your body, it's not converting properly in your body.
Exactly.
And it's not being absorbed.
Not absorbed.
So if it does not have that liposomal cyclosome delivery system, and that's also been utilized in pharmaceutical drugs too as well, you can look it up on ncbi.com, which is PubMed. which is a medical research website that's governed by our fantastic government. If they do not utilize that delivery system, it's not doing anything to your body. You're pissing out, shitting it out.
So you need something to bypass the liver. Kind of like taking trying to, like, when you're driving, you basically want to cut a corner. You want to cut a corner to get out of the liver because the liver will just destroy it out of there. Basically, you're not preserving it. But then, yeah, remember, these are agents, so they will, after a decent amount of time, they will suppress your natural testosterone production. So that's why we have a product like...
You have a PCT.
PCT.
Yes.
PCT. PCT5 has a testosterone boosting mechanism in it. Also has a liver cleanser. It has a rimestine to block the conversion of testosterone to estrogen to pick your natural testosterone levels back up. Saw palmetto and NAC for the liver. What's good about this product, we also recommend to stack it with Apex Male because the real thing in Apex Male is the 3 grams of D-aspartic acid, which naturally raises free testosterone pretty well, in my opinion. And honestly, after a 8-week cycle, it's good to do a post-cycle therapy like this. You don't have to get into your Novadex or anything like that because it's not going to suppress you as bad as like a steroid cycle or a really heavy, hard like SARM cycle.
At that point, you're tanking yourself.
Exactly. So, I mean, at the end of the day, but then guys, there's one other topic, TRT. People always ask, do I need a PCT with TRT? You got that question, right? You get that question sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. So I always tell people to take something natural on the sides if they're doing TRT, if they're doing HRT. And because you don't want the synthetic exogenous, testosterone coming in completely shutting you down. You still want to have yourself, you don't want to have complete HBT shut down.
And what would you recommend for someone that's on TRT that just kind of keeping their natural levels fertile?
I would honestly say that Apex Male, but I wouldn't do 8 pills a day?
Yeah.
I would probably do 2 and 2.
So
2 in the morning,
so half a dosage.
2 at night, and I would run that for a longer duration of time because I feel like the longer you run something and the more consistent it is in your blood, the better off you are.
Stable blood levels. With anything, it's stable blood levels. That's why you guys got to know 1 pill morning, 1 pill night. It's keeping your body at a stable blood level, so less side effects, more progressive gains.
And also, if you're doing, say, one of these, stacks, like this abnormal, or if you're doing chosen one or wherever it may be, and whenever you start taking your PCT, I always take my PCT 2 weeks before the cycle actually ends.
Yeah, he adds it back in just so your body gets sensitized to actually coming off. It's not going to be...
so you don't just drop in that deficit, and then you got to wait for the extracts to build up, because obviously the natural stuff's going to take longer to kick in.
100%.
Than the exogenous stuff.
100%.
You're comparing a nuke to, a BB gun at that point.
Exactly. Actually, that's a good comparison. Nuke to BB gun. You got explosive, which is obviously, if you think about it, you're going to put on a lot of size. And then you have something that's just going to kind of like do.
And another thing, too, is like with the anti-estrogens, with the Remastane, a lot of guys, they, think I'm going to get dry and hard off this, so they start tanking their estrogen. And when you tank your estrogen, that gives you the same feel as, having low libido, essentially. 100%. And then your joints suck. You don't have muscle pumps. Then you start getting, you're kind of get this mind fuckery, I guess we'd call it.
Oh, yeah, because you end up turning soft. Yeah, you might get a little leaner. You could, if you take a recommended dose of Remastine, you might get a little bit of testosterone boosting out of it. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't just rely on an estrogen block to get lean. At the end of the day, it's a diet.
Yeah, it's all diet and it's all activity. And it's just mostly just staying consistent with what you're doing.
Very, very.
You don't have to eat 8 meals a day to, be, to look decently jacked or to be lean. But if you're eating, say, like 4 to 5 meals and it's consistent, and your meals are consistent, your training program's consistent, and with cardio, we'll hit on cardio here too.
100%.
Your cardio should always be consistent. It doesn't matter if you're getting ready for a show or anything too, but for overall health purposes as well. And you guys are actually releasing kind of your own health line here too.
Yeah, essential line. So we're going to have a glutamine, we're going to have a creatine monohydrate, we're also going to have a vitamin D3, we're going to have turmeric, and then we're going to have a couple other things like fish oil. The list can go down, collagen as well. It's coming soon, so guys, stay tuned because everyone's always like, you guys carry creatine. Honestly, creatine can be ran year round. If you want to guys get on the top of creatine, what would you suggest taking creatine monohydrate?
I usually do 5 grams in the morning, and I'll do 5 grams pre-workout and then 5 grams post-workout.
So he's doing 15 grams a day.
I like pre and post.
Yeah,
5 and 5.
Personally, I just do 5 grams pre. I have never really been consistent with it. It's nothing against it or anything like that. It's just I always just throw it on into 2 scoops of hyperload. It's just
and there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that.
And what is the importance of creatine?
ATP synthesis. It's fuel for the muscles.
So what does ATP stand for?
Yeah, ATP synthesis. So ATP is the
adenosine triphosphate.
Yeah, it's fuel for the muscles. But also it's a good hyperhydrative agent too, which is why I take it in the morning. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm pulling water into the muscle cells, so I'm hyperhydrating myself. But you can also do that with glycerol too, which is Hydromax. I used to do it with Hydromax consistently, but then taking glycerol on an empty stomach in the morning, doesn't really work out that well.
I do notice if you've got issues like say a bad shoulder or a bad elbow, by taking creatine, you'll notice that you'll have a little bit less joint pain because you're retaining a little bit more water. So you've got some cushioning around that,
and it's
right?
not the extracellular water we're talking about. We're talking about
Intracellular.
Yeah, we're talking about intracellular.
Into the muscle, where you're getting proper. It's kind of like you have a waterbed and you put your arm on it. It has that extra cushion. It's not going to be like a waterbed. It's all smooth, but you'll have support, kind of like
your strength. Yes.
The more support you have on your joints, the more muscle you're going to be able to put on. It's 100% true.
And there's limiting factors in everything. So let's say, for example, you got a bad shoulder. You may have the strength in your tricep and your chest to push 450 pounds, but your shoulder may not take it.
And another thing too, in regards to like creatine or even glycerol, whenever you're pulling water into the muscle cell, because they're hyperhydrative agents, your strength significantly goes up. Just like if you were to put a belt on before a major lift, you can lift significantly heavier, not because you're more stable, because you're keeping yourself intact or aligned, but because you have something to push against. So when you have that intracellular pressure, you kind of have like the water balloon pushing against the balloon that doesn't have water in it. It's gonna pop that. It's gonna push just the what do you call it? Helium balloon. It's gonna push the helium balloon or the balloon with just air away, and the water balloon's gonna stay.
100%. I mean, we can go down a long line, a list of. I can go over each product. It's good for you guys to do your personal research on it.
Let's do it over females.
Okay,
Super Straw. In recomp.
Do Super Straw, Halo Elite,
Myostatin,
and
Epi's good. Yeah. So we're gonna go over a few products that females can actually
put the abnormal in there as well, because a low androgenic. Okay, so females always ask, is there anything I can take that's going to enhance me, get me bigger, tone my ass? There's a whole list of it. I'm just being a fucking jackass, but literally, most of all, they just want to put on muscle, okay? So putting on muscle, you have a couple key agents. You can go, I always say start with the female because you don't want any virilization effects or anything like that. Epi-Smash. Guys, you know what Epi-Smash is? Are you familiar with that?
Yes, lysogen and epicapsin, chocolate flavonoid, and the plant-based protein, or increases protein synthesis, and one blocks that myostatin.
Laxogenic is almost like a plant-based antiviral.
Yes, it's kind of similar. It's actually a hardening agent because it really increases nitrogen retention. Nitrogen retention will add that fullness. Also increases protein synthesis, so more protein in the body being absorbed, faster recovery, bigger muscles, less body fat. And good thing about Laxogenic, which girls suffer from a lot, is stress. Stress is coming from your cortisol rising, and Laxogenic is a great cortisol suppressant. So the cool thing about Epi-Smash, yes, we have Anogen, and yes, we have EpiCap, which are both the standalone products, both two ingredients that are in there, but we use the same delivery system that are in the pro hormones that we talked about earlier, liposomal. So you actually get 25 times more potency from taking Epi-Smash versus any standalone one, which is highly recommended. For females, you start off with 1, you can go up to 2. Honestly, I just say always take 2 because the more the merrier when it comes to Laxogenic and Epicaptogen, in my opinion. You also have Myostatin. Myostatin, you have YK11, which is not a SARM, it's actually considered, I don't know what the fuck.
What is it?
It's considered a pro?
No, it's like...
It's methylated, so...
It's a method. I think it's considered a pro, actually. A lot of people do stack that with other things.
Yeah, so basically, myostatin inhibition. Epicaptogen has some form of myostatin inhibition as well, but the first one that we came out, the second one that we came out was with Myostatin. Myostatin has terkesterone in it. It's actually from Russia. There's been proven benefits to actually really decrease myostatin in the body. So which is gonna increase myostatin? No, increase myostatin in the body.
You want to block out myostatin.
Yeah, you want to block. Sorry about that. I always get
myostatin.
When you block, it's a myostatin. Yeah, myostatin inhibitor.
Yeah.
So when you're inhibiting myostatin, you're allowing your body to progressively grow. You look at a cow. Cows are injected with any kind of myostatin inhibitor. What's going to happen is they're going to get bigger. They're going to produce more calves. They're going to produce bigger horses too, bigger quads, stuff like that. So in a sense is you're going to be able to push past your natural plateau. That's kind of similar to what that is. And females perfectly able to take that. Great stack to even take in combo. But some girls just want to push the limit. That's what always happens. You know that?
Yep, and then they're no longer chicks.
Well, sometimes
And they're no longer chicks.
sometimes you don't even need to go.
Sometimes I know I've talked to females who are taking two different, like they're taking a serum and an anti-estrogen. And I'm looking, I'm like, why? Why are you taking a serum?
They want to have desired effects, but don't.
It doesn't work that way. I'm sorry.
In my opinion, I wouldn't even touch that. So let's see, what can you be on as a woman that's a little more aggressive without, not going to say without side effects, but with minimal side effects. There's two agents that are pros that girls can take perfectly safe. It is Superstrong, which is a cutting pro-hormone. Girls can tend to increase their caloric intake, which will put on some lean mass, in my opinion. It has epiandro in it. It also has 7-ketodicinogen, which helps with metabolism. The epiandro is actually similar to our old Epistane. I always like to say that's more of a non-liver toxic form of Epistane, where increasing strength, increasing sex drive, it has a more androgenic side to it, but without
So increasing sex drive in women?
Yes.
Wow.
100%.
I've had several guys come in asking, hey, is there anything I can get for my wife or girlfriend to increase her
Well,
sex
if we
drive?
had Harmonize, which is coming back in stock soon, that would be great for your women.
Okay.
But when it comes to performance enhancing and sexual experience, I'd say Superstrong definitely has that kind of effect. And these can be taken from 8 to 12 weeks. Girls, you can take one pill. Slightly bigger girls, like I'm talking, because you see those girls that are average height of, let's say 5'3", one pill is fine. If you're 5'6" and over and you're weighing about $150, take 2 pills. You can take it as a standalone if you want to make your cutting cycle even better. You can add in a natural anabolic like Recomp RX, which is your solic acid, increases muscle glycogen storage for allowing carbs to store in the muscle, increases nitrogen retention, also decreases cortisol levels. Great combo stack. Recommended dose is 1 pill morning, noon, and night with meals. Proper nutrient absorption, also full effect of the actual product. That's one combo. And then you got Abnormal. Abnormal, we talked about earlier.
I like Abnormal.
I like Abnormal for women, especially at 1 pill per day, because lubrication of the joints, low androgenic side effect, and estrogenic side effect. So it's a really good anabolic to really put on size. They're not going to hold much water, and they're really going to be able to grow. You know, their glutes, their hams, their quads, wherever lagging part they really want to grow. And the girls, you don't need a post-cycle therapy. Only thing I would recommend, honestly, coming off something like that, so the inhibition of water retention and stuff like that, because the estrogen will go up. And girls, you can take like a low dose of aromatine. That's fine. Low dose, which I mean like 1 cap.
Or even just dim.
Or just dim to balance out a good estrogen to bad estrogen, stuff like that. And honestly, that's all you need. And we can keep going. Girls have also been a big fan of Halo Elite.
I like that in high dosages.
Yeah, 6 pills a day for
And
the guys.
You notice that. You notice that in high dosages.
You notice what we like to call an androgenic effect, that aggressiveness in the gym. You can really, really push, and you can cut or bulk on this. Girls like to actually take a pre-workout for just that in training intensity. They're able to squat more because you're bringing out you're enhancing your androgen sensitivity. So you're allowing, and if you're taking androgens on top of that, it's going to enhance it even more. So something like Abnormal and Halo will actually bring out Abnormal's effects even faster. So 3 pills pre-workout. It's a plant-based androgen. It's called Accumulate Moieties. It has a 100 to 1 ratio, so it's really androgenic on that standpoint. And highly recommend it. It can be taken year-round. Good thing is, if you want to cycle it off, I always do 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 6 weeks on, 2 weeks off to keep that excitement in me. That's why it's not that long of a break, and that way you can get right back onto it. I mean, Ryan, you've carried Innovative Nutrition, right?
Yes,
in Missouri.
Nutrition.
Innovative Sports Nutrition in Missouri. He carries our products. We actually talked, and he's like wanting to bring a couple new things in. Ryan, did you have any questions about any of the products from Blackstone's?
You know, we might want to talk a little bit about what is the difference in some of these pre-workouts, say going from Dust X to V2.
So the big contributing difference on that, just to answer your question with that, honestly, in my opinion, because they're very similar formulas, you can quote me on that.
I'd say it's the two. Like I always explain to people, like Dust X is a step and a half up from the Dust V2.
Exactly.
Dust V2 is like great for your, your average.
I like to call it the upgraded version of C4. It's way better than C4. It hits you good. You can take it every day. And honestly, it's just enough caffeine. It's about 350 to 400 milligrams of caffeine, both time release and fast acting. You have good pump formula in there. You have good mood enhancement in there. The difference with the Dust X is it has the 150 milligrams of DMHA, which we were talking about, which is also an arsen for the focus effect. So people that are stim junkies would rely on the Dust X. People that are just focusing on just pure energy and performance.
And I think that Dust X gives that almost old DMAA kind of feel.
Effect.
DMHA gives that focus feeling, but it doesn't last quite as long as old DMAA did.
And when you have caffeine and other stimulants like phenylmine piggybacking off of that DMHA, that makes it synergistic. Effect. Yeah, that gives you that ultimate kind of synergistic effect. There's 350 mg of caffeine in that Dust X.
Yeah, you also have phenylamine in there. You also have hygenamine in there. You have an assortment of things.
Yeah, you have that synergistic kind of effect. And I know, like, whenever that first came out, I ended up taking 2 scoops of it, just because I usually just did 2 scoops of everything, because that's just, what you do. And I did 2 scoops.
We don't advise that, by the way.
Yeah, and I did 2 scoops. I'm like, about 15, 20 minutes going to the gym, like, that was a mistake. You start having that panic attack. I'm like, nope. And then I got to the gym after that kind of anxiety kind of just wore off a little bit. And then then you had a good workout. But
good workout.
Don't do that.
Not for the average Joe.
Yeah, don't do that. Only if you, were around in the tweaker days when things were extremely tweaky.
Let me grab my short ass. This fucking hyper loaded.
Yep.
That's a good one.
But the main thing is, honestly, at the end of the day, is blood flow. When it comes to the gym, you're just trying to get maximum blood flow. In Wiz Hyperload, it's a non-stim nitric oxide booster. You have a couple key ingredients. You have 6 grams of citrulline malate, which is great for vasodilation, glycerol monostearate, which he's a big fan of glycerol. Overall water retention pump kind of type feeling. Remember, intracellular, not extracellular. You have the alpha GPC for brain metabolism, which is a nootropic. You have 300 milligrams in there. You have the potassium chloride for muscle contraction. You also have the Novoline in there for pump. Some people think Novoline doesn't work. It could not, maybe, but in my opinion, I still think it works.
Doesn't Novoline help keep your pump longer?
Correct. It helps intensify
keeps that nitric oxide levels
of the pump. Right. Keeps the nitric oxide levels up higher.
Elevated.
There's actually studies on NCBI, which is PubMed. I always, go to scholarly sources. Obviously, on alpha GPC, where athletes that taken alpha GPC in comparison with placebo effects, actually it increased the actual muscle output or torque on like leg presses or workouts. So it also helps with that mind muscle connection and also increases it.
Nootropics will help with that. So you don't necessarily need caffeine. If you have a little bit of some kind of focus blend in a pump formula, it's perfectly fine. Like you can literally take, I recommend about 600 milligrams of alpha GPC because my main thing is I do 2 scoops of hyperloaded pre-workout every single fucking time I train. Doesn't matter what day it is, I just love it. And I also do 3 pills of Halo, sometimes, mostly 6 to be honest. But that's my cocktail of like pre-workout assumptions. And it can go along lines. So that's when they answer the question on what's the difference with the different pre-workouts and stuff like that. So that will kind of like hinder that.
And you'll notice also different types of athletes are going to like different types of pre-workouts, are going to like different amounts of pump. Some athletes, maybe cardio athletes, don't want as much pump as, maybe they want more beta-alanine, right? So you have to make sure that you communicate to whatever store or to whoever you're purchasing from, what your goals are so that they're suggesting the right things for what you're trying to do.
You can do so many different...
It's a fully loaded question. Whenever people are like, what are the difference between the pre-workouts in the store? And I'm like, well, there's 40. Which ones are you wanting to compare? But at the end of the day, a lot of pre-workouts now, quality company pre-workouts, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. And then you have to see, where are they being manufactured by? Who are they third-party certified by?
We use high-tech pharmaceuticals, which probably, in my opinion, maybe they'll agree with me. Yeah. It's one of the best manufacturers in the United States.
They're keeping supplements on the shelves for you guys. Those are the people who are fighting the FDA and are winning the lawsuits against the FDA and bringing back supplements and keeping things on the shelves. And they're also the individuals that are suing, like Harvard professors and all this other jazz that are making false claims against supplementation.
Let's think about some of the things we're seeing right now. Say with COVID-19.
Yep.
They want to talk about retrovirals. They want to talk about vaccines. But how often do you hear our politicians or doctors talking about health, building your immune system, right? So these are things where you have to kind of wonder, why do they want to come down on certain supplements or certain natural supplements, but yet want to push other things? It's all about money.
And in my opinion, yeah, it is. They want to come out with another freaking vaccine that they can sell.
Yeah, billions of dollars.
I will never fuck.
I'm not taking it. Not taking it.
Or how about you?
That or going through, well, I think that's all bullcrap anyways, but or that, or like say 1,3-dimethylamine, DMAA, guess what, hey, whenever, we're at the shop, University SIUE is right next door, how many people would come in there and take 1,3 because it acts like Adderall to them? And guess what's cheaper to manufacture for a pharmacy company? 1,3-dimethylamine that comes from the geranium plant, or meth? What's cheaper? So, hey, this is a cheaper route. Let's try to regulate this so we can make money on it, because look at what the fat burning industry is doing.
They just want that kind of industry that the FDA is in and what the government is doing is just something that no one's going to agree on. But at the end of the day, you can't control it. You can try fighting it if you have the money.
If you have the money.
Make sure you have the money.
I take that.
So they had the money, so they're actually protecting us, which we thank you guys and thank Blackstone Labs for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So support
the
Blackstone
companies,
Labs, yes. Which is manufactured by high-tech pharmaceuticals. To support those companies, because those are the people who are keeping this on the shelves for you.
100%.
They're keeping freedom. They're keeping freedom real in the U.S.
And guys, Missouri, he carries our products. You can call a store over the phone. You can call Capital Nutrition, Best Price Nutrition. You can call any of those guys. They'll check you out right away. Great discounts, great deals, and proper customer service. So 100%. Anyone that's listening to this, please do. Even though there's not that many people on the live, I know I'm going to save this video and post it. So I hope you guys like it. Supplementation can go a long ways. I mean, we talked a lot about me. We talked a lot about Blackstones, which is amazing. Let's talk about, guys, what did you guys think about training with me last night? Like, what was the...
It was different. It was different because you're kind of, like, I usually train in the same motion where, one's done, other goes. One's done, other goes. None of that, like, standing around waiting 5-minute crap. I don't do that because, I don't really have the patience for it. But, towards the end, I'm like, I'll try to go at his speed and see what it's like. And it was different because I already kind of tanked myself because, I do slow controlled negatives on everything and control everything and do static holds. But training with you, it's a little bit different. But then again, we're training with a top caliber competitor who's also trained with other top caliber competitors as well. So you see that kind of mindset and mentality, which, him and I have grown up around that over American Family Fitness Pro Gym in Pontoon Beach. That's a gym where, you walk in and get humbled looking at people that are 300 plus pounds and you're looking up to them and the dumbbells go up to 200. But, we're working out with someone who's coming from something different. Even if they're coming from a different state, everything is different. But the one thing that's the same is that we all share the same passion and we all want the same goal at the end of the day.
It's the workout, definitely the environment we were in and the people we were training with last night.
And I had a pump last night that literally hurt and woke up this morning and I was like, hey, I'm sore all over. And that's what you want.
That's age too.
Well, that could be age too. But at the end of the day, I might not have grabbed 120-pound dumbbells last night to do reps had he not, right?
Yeah.
I said, hey, maybe I'll stay at the hundreds, right? So that's
what you need
that's
to be
the
around.
deep water you need to go swimming.
If you can find the heaviest dumbbells, not go controllably crazy, but if you can get it for 12, 15 reps,
yes,
fucking knock them bitches out.
Knock them out.
Knock them out. Slow on the way down, explode on the way up type thing, And we did different movements. Like I was talking to Ed last night, and we were literally going, what do you want to do next? And I was like, I love presses. And then he was like, we could do anything, bro. So we were everyone got to pick what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
We did, what was the gym? Warzone.
Yep,
Warzone gym.
Warzone in Mokena.
In Mokena. Thank you for letting us train there, by the way, guy. What's his name?
Adrian. He didn't show up. He was
Adrian,
doing something else.
Made a child in you, so if you see this podcast, I want to thank you for letting me use your gym. Great place, very clean, very loved. I love
and the machines are, and having different machines to work out on are going to hit different angles.
I mean, we did a pec deck that was.
We did the old butterfly press where you got to lean back and you're kind of in like this cockpit. Like, you think how big that machine is?
It was a big machine. It was a great pump, dude.
Like that's kind of
Very
like the machines that still have like the chain links that control the movements.
It's an old Nautilus version.
Yeah, the old Nautilus.
100%.
But then again, like we all used it differently. He grabbed it and he put his elbow. He used his elbows to pull in. I kind of pull mine out like this to scoop, and then we kind of just
Could be because I'm short, but
yeah, you don't know. Sammy's like 6'5". He doesn't look that tall, but he's super tall in person.
He has some good traction, man. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's just there was nothing different. And that was my point of asking how they thought about training with me. And I didn't expect an answer like, oh, it was insane. I expected an answer like, it was fucking fun. It was different, but it was fun,
Well, challenging, and you should feel challenged in some way at every workout. I think if you're going there by yourself and just going through the motions, I mean, are you going to make any progress doing that? No, you're not. You've got to press the envelope in some way, whether that's more reps, whether that's heavier weight, whether that's changing the cadence or how you're lifting,
And 100% when he means changing the the way you're training throughout the whole workout. We didn't just do heavy sets. We did a lot of squeezing, isolating exercises. We did a lot of drop sets. We did everything. Like, I mean, I think the best one was when we did the incline hammer. We all did a triple drop. Everyone did progressively very well. I mean, especially after finding 2 exercises after that. We did a fucking fly that I wasn't feeling. I was looking at it like, fuck this guy, I don't want to do it. But to be honest, it actually hit that top shelf really well, and it was actually good because you gotta know you can't do the same shit every time. Because I'm a typical dumbbell hammer. I'm a typical incline hammer, dumbbell. Incline hammer, incline dumbbell, and then like just incline Smith.
Let me ask you something, Sammy. What do you think that there's a place for dumbbells, straight bar, machine, cables, like all those different types of lifts, or do you focus more on just say dumbbells and straight bars? Do you like using a combination of everything?
Personally, I use a combination of everything.
Okay.
That's just me. I just think I don't like feeling the same shit. In my opinion, I'm very big. I don't do a free bar. Like I won't bench press. I won't incline barbell press. Mm-hmm. I actually will do a Smith machine when it comes to the straight bars. And I do a lot of hammer. I do a lot of cable presses. I also do a lot of dumbbell presses. I do sorts of stuff.
I do a lot more dumbbell than I do straight bar these days.
And something else too that we probably wouldn't touch on is even just the type of music that people listen to.
100%.
Mm-hmm. You know, because we all listen to different music, but like, and he likes kind of like slower metal music, and I like fast metal music. He likes rap or like Frank Sinatra type stuff. But
it's like loud.
Yeah. But he was turning on different music, and like whenever you go into the gym, we typically listen to the same playlist over and over again. So whenever you have somebody playing something new or different, I think that kind of just hits a refresh or a restart button. And
especially if they never listened to it and if they really like it.
That's one of the
you played an artist last night. I forgot who the fuck they were.
By like Depeche Mode.
Yeah, they were good. They
like
were good.
80s? Was it 80s like?
Yeah,
or was it Bring Me to the Horizon?
No, it was similar to like a Blink 182, but like a little like faster.
Oh,
I forgot the name of it, but
I got a whole email playlist.
I'm gonna ask you about that one later. And like you said, I mean, music can really bring out basically endorphins, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
A good endorphins.
Well, and I think like you said with the music, sometimes it's the music that they're playing in the gym, but also there's other times when putting on some noise canceling earphones and shutting everybody out and just getting lost in your own little world is a wonderful thing too.
100%.
And when you've got earphones on, you can ignore other things going on around you. Where when I can hear other people talking, sometimes it takes away from the
When we're talking about the gym guys, we weren't on our fucking cell phones. We weren't texting. That was a known thing as we're all salesmen.
Yeah.
And we're always known to answer a client, answer a text, answer a supplement question. What we did that whole hour and a half, we didn't touch our phones. I mean, yeah, we trained. Time. We trained. We talked. We took photos, We enjoyed the environment.
We took photos without a cell phone.
Exactly.
Without a cell phone. We had Brad, our operations manager. I don't know if he's outside here or not. Thank you, Brad, for all that you do.
Thank you.
Because you do all this stuff that I can't do myself and I would want to do. But Brad's our operations guy here. He's one that has went through, came out, took his time, recorded everything. This on his own time, and Brad, he doesn't really care about the bodybuilding stuff at all. So 100%. Just for him to get into it and like learn how to film and everything, just for us and the stuff that we do, that means a lot as well.
Well, you remember too. You see a guy out on stage. You see Sammy out on stage. It's not just him by himself. It's a whole team of people behind him that's allowed that to happen.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't happen just by one person.
No.
Yeah, you might be the manifest of it, but you just need a second eye. You
Yes.
need proper guidance. You need people to be fucking negative sometimes. So
Yeah.
you really don't let off the gas.
And we're not talking about like a team of like competitors, because there's no such thing as a team competitors if they're competing against each other. We're talking about a team of people who are there for you, friends, family,
Support
mentors,
structure. It
coaches,
could be
bosses.
his meal prep service.
Meet
It could be
macro.
PJ
Same
Braun
time.
back home.
Blackstone
I mean,
lines.
there's a lot of different things that go into creating an athlete. It's not just one person.
No, 100%. I mean, it's backed up by a lot of things. Backed up by, comments on Instagram, pushing comments, like, just very, like, damn, bro, you're changing every single day. It's amazing. And honestly, like, dude, it's truly inspiring. It's truly inspiring. And I will literally show you guys, I answer every single DM. They probably answer every single DM they get, answering questions, shooting the shit, whether it's just a fire photo they're commenting from your story or anything like that. If you guys really want to interact and make yourself stand out there, I really honestly suggest you don't just keep... Yeah, you'll have some gay perverts in there. You could just delete them, or you could be friendly and just be like, hey man, totally understand.
No.
But, you know, it's just at the end of the day, you should answer everyone. Everyone's worth some kind of time for yourself. And it's just like that. I mean, we can go on and on about people are different. Some people just never answer DMs, you know, and there's those guys with millions of followers, you know.
They can't answer every DM.
They can't.
They would be on their phone nonstop, and they wouldn't be able to work a job because they would be stuck answering the same thing over and over and over again.
And sometimes it's just, you know, one-word answers. And that's why voice note is amazing, because honestly, I use voice more than anyone.
Yep, that's the best. I think this is the best form of communication because, hey, texting, you can go through and, you could go through, like, you know, this conversation here, if we were to text this would take 3 days worth of texting.
100%. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, supplements are great, training's great, your environment's great, and then that's how you should be. That's what we want to kind of talk about on this podcast.
And another thing, too, is just balance. Like, you know, we all have relationships here. You know, some of us like our relationships more than other. But, you know, like competitors, they typically have relationships. They have somebody that's at home that does their self-helps, and, you know, they're there for them at night. You know, you have a panic attack at night because you're strung out, and it's, you know, a week before a show, and, you know, all that jazz. You know, you have someone that you're sharing
part of
night
your
sweats
support
with.
system.
Yeah.
When you go back in that area.
And then you kind of have to find balance, too, as well, to kind of bring them in to your life.
Give them exposure to at the same time. I love you, Kiara, by the way. And what I mean by that is, like, if they're interested in the same shit as you, you can't just be the one that's supposed to in the limelight all the time. You have to share that limelight.
Yeah.
And whatever you can do on that standpoint, even if you don't want it, there's this old saying, like, even if you hate something, do it like you really like it. And I'm not saying that you don't like seeing your girl up there or your significant other up there, you know, shining the light. But at the end of the day, it's going to make you feel really good as a person to actually
be there for somebody.
To be there for someone because they were there for you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Even if you don't like it, you fake it until you make it.
100%.
Or you fake it till you become it. Because if you fake it enough, you end up becoming it.
The outcome of supporting people, if you know you really don't feel like doing it, it's actually really rewarding in my opinion. Especially being there, you know, seeing them put the hard work that you put in. It's truly fucking insane, honestly.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure Sammy's coached people. We've all three coached people, getting them ready for shows, and it is gratifying, not just in a financial perspective, but as a person, it feels good to help somebody change themselves. And when you can, we're done.
5 minutes.
We got
Okay.
5 minutes.
But when you help someone change themselves, you know, they drop 30 pounds of fat, or they change the way they look. It opens up new doors in their life, and it makes you feel good as a person to be able to help somebody make those kind of changes in their life.
Yeah, like your guys competing today, right? One of your guys is. And, you know, the best thing is whenever those stage photos come in and, you know, 2 or 3 days, you're like, yeah, look how happy they look. Or, you know, they might not be happy. I mean, who knows what they look like on stage. But, you know, you get to see the end product and all their positive comments and everything on there too. You kind of share that with the person because they're happy at the end of the day, and that's all you wanted out of their whole experience was for them to be happy, to get them from point A to point B, to finish their journey, to be there with them during that finish, and then to watch them actually receive everything that we receive from, you know, our friends and our following whenever we compete.
100%. And there are a lot of rewards that come to us as competitors that aren't just a medal or a check or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
No, it's honestly the most rewarding thing is like the completion.
Yeah.
The completion of it, whether even if you don't place, you know, the fact that as long as you know you didn't cheat, as long as the fact you gave it your hardest, that is the true value in like a trophy. That is the true value in like what it's worth to actually, you know, chase your dreams, chase what you're, and it could be applied to anything, guys. And that's where all consistency comes in. That's where dedication. That's where freaking discipline comes into play.
Just doing your job and just following the plan in front of you day in and
It's
day
like a
out.
map, man. Just follow it to the end of the buried treasure.
Yeah, it's not hard, and for the people that don't follow it, it's not meant for everybody. It's not meant for everybody at the end of the day. And it's fine. You know, you can get into it, you can dabble in it, and you can go do it and not do it 100%. But if that's what makes you happy, do it.
and there are people that do one show and they never do another show, but they're happy that they did the show they did.
Yeah.
It's a self-accomplishment, and I think that's it for everyone. And guys, we do have an event here at Supplement Warehouse today in Bolingbrook. I think it's 181 Crossroads.
West Crossroads Parkway.
West Crossroads Parkway, Bolingbrook, Illinois. I don't know the zip code.
Illinois.
And it is 1 to 5 p.m. Axe throwing contest. Buy one, get one 50% off all Blackstone line products. including the pro hormones as well. And guys, just come out. There's gonna be food. There's gonna be bitches. There's gonna be everything. So just come out and support if you guys are watching this anywhere from Illinois.
And we got BOGO 50 on all Blackstone Labs products here too.
100%, 100%. So guys, stay tuned.
Hey,
I hope you guys like it.
It was a
Thank you for
pleasure.
having me. And bye bye.